First things first, unless we mention it specifically, your score streaks will always be UAV, RAPS, and Advanced UAV. Even after the RAPS nerf, these are simply the best 3 score streaks you could use to maximize your team's control and pressure. But what if enemy score streaks are shutting you down? That's where our first loadout comes in. It's the one you always need if you play any respawn game mode. It's the double weapon loadout with the MOW Thermite mag. We've told you countless times, but it's required to have a loadout with a MOW Thermite to blow up RAPS, chopper gunners, and basically any score streaks that could truly bother you. On this loadout, make sure you use the Annihilator so your operator charge doesn't reset when you switch back to your normal loadout. Also, make sure you use the cold-blooded perk. Apart from that, you're pretty much free to use anything. We personally recommend you to go for overclock so you can keep charging your operator faster when using this loadout. But honestly, aside from the MOW, the Annihilator, and the cold-blooded perk, nothing else really matters for this specific setup. This loadout is your absolute foundation for success, but it's just one piece of the puzzle for a complete arsenal. Next, let's talk about pure aggression, the aggressive SMG loadout. This one is simple. Equip your most aggressive SMG, probably something like a Fennec MX9 or Switchblade X9. But the gun is only half the battle. The perks make it lethal. Use lightweight and skulker to make you extra fast, whether you're running or strafing. Along with that, you have 2 options for the green perk, either quick fix or gung ho. That's up to you. Then for the blue perk, also 2 choices. Either you go for stealth with dead silence or for resistance with survival training. For lethal equipment, you could use pretty much everything, but I like the Molotov in ranked as it can be used for blocking an area. For tactical equipment, if you use gung ho, you might want stim shots. If you're going for quick fix, you can use a flash, a concussion, a smoke, or a trophy. For the operator, it's pretty free here too, but what you'll want to use is probably something very aggressive, such as kinetic armor, misdirection device, or for something that can kill directly, an annihilator, equalizers, tempest, or claw. All these work pretty well. Now for something a little bit more OBJ oriented than just slaying with an SMG, the gun is still up to you, but the new VMP would be the best choice here as we discussed in its dedicated spotlight. For the perks, you'll want to use Dauntless and Overclock to help you charge your operator faster and be immune to any slowing effect, and also have a huge burning damage reduction. If you skip these perks, your ability to hold objectives will be severely limited, making this gun's power almost useless in this role. With that, you want to go with quick fix and survival training. For the tactical and lethal equipment, you'll probably want to go for a Molotov and trophy system as it's the best combo to protect an area. For the operator, while the kinetic armor and misdirection device might not be as good here, a claw, tempest, equalizers, or purifier will definitely be your top tier choices. And while the secondary doesn't matter much on the aggressive SMG loadout, here you'll probably want a machine pistol as you'll be put under a lot of pressure if you're holding the OBJ. As a wise man said, switching to your secondary is always faster than reloading. Now for our last SMG loadout, a flex SMG setup using guns like the USS-9 or the Bison. While they can be used for the loadouts before, this one will suit their balanced playstyle a little bit better. This is for players who want to be effective everywhere. Instead of using Dauntless plus Overclock or Lightweight plus Skulker, we'll mix these 2 red perk combos and go for Overclock plus Lightweight or Skulker. If you're using the Bison, which has great strafe speed, we'll go for Skulker to improve that. If you're using the USS-9, we'll go for Lightweight to improve the sprint speed. For any other gun, just check its strafe and sprint speed and pick Lightweight or Skulker accordingly. MX9 would be Skulker while Fennec would be Lightweight, for example. Making the wrong choice here means you're leaving raw performance on the table. For the tactical and lethal equipment, you'll probably want something flexible, so ideally a smoke for the tactical, and for the lethal equipment, probably something like a frag, a Semtex, or a contact grenade. For the operator, there's nothing more flexible than an Annihilator or a Tempest, so these would be your best picks, although you might want to try the misdirection device and the kinetic as these 2 suit this loadout well. Lastly, for the green and blue perk, quick fix and dead silence are probably the 2 best flexible picks here. Overall, this loadout is great for playing aggressive and playing OBJ, even though it's not perfect in both, but for general ranked play, it might be your best overall option. Now for the AR loadouts. The first one is really basic and it's the Flex AR loadout for your typical XM4, Type 19, Peacekeeper, and so on. If you want a consistent all-around performer, pay close attention. These guns typically have a decent strafe speed, so we want to increase that with Skulker. Then, Typically, quick fix and dead silence work well, but we can adjust that depending on the operator we use. Now for the lethal and tactical, you're pretty free to use what suits you best. If you're more of a precision holder, then a trophy system is probably the smart move. If you're more of a rusher, then probably a concussion, flash, or smoke will suit you better. Now for the operator, we have a few good choices here. Equalizer and purifier can be used if you play close to the OBJ a lot, but then gung-ho instead of quick fix might be better. Sparrow and death machine can also be great choices with ARs, but then you need to use demo expert instead of dead silence to be efficient. If you just want something flexible that will work pretty much every time, then Tempest and Annihilator are your top picks. But as you probably noticed until now, there isn't anything that requires a wildcard, and that's where you'll find some flexibility. You can either put a second red perk and go for overclock for example, or use the new killstreak support wildcard which allows you to use a 4th score streak, ranging from a chopper RC to an EMP system, depending on your ability to build up streaks. These are the best choices. For the second AR loadout, which is for classic and passive ARs, your typical guns from the DRH to the Odin, including the Kilo or the Krig. Unlike the Flex ARs where mobility is a must, here we'll focus on something else entirely. First of all, since we'll be playing from far away most of the time or holding lines, dead silence isn't needed. People either will be too far away to hear us, or they'll already know we're here because we're holding lines. So we can go for hardline or demo expert if we're using an explosive operator. For the red perk, the obvious would be overclock, and it's not a bad choice, but considering we'll be holding lines, we'll probably eat a lot of throwables, so flak jacket and dauntless are definitely great picks, even both if you want to use the perk greed red wildcard. For the green perk, it depends on your weapons. If you're using something with quite high flinch, then toughness is definitely useful, else ghost or quick fix will be your top picks. For your operator skills here, you want something good for long range in general, or good for playing support. Here's a non-ordered list of operators that will definitely suit this playstyle. For your lethal and tactical, I recommend using a Semtex and a trophy, but you could decide otherwise for the lethal equipment, going for a frag, a contact grenade, a Molotov, it's up to you. And lastly, for the wildcard, either you go for a double red perk or just like before, you can go for an extra score streak. Considering you shouldn't be dying too much according to this playstyle, it might be the better choice, especially if you're using hardline. This loadout makes you a fort on the map, but what if you want to get truly aggressive with specific weapons? Now that we've covered the obvious AR and SMG loadouts, let's have some fun, shall we? This is the shotgun loadout. I don't care which one you use, it works for everything except sniper shotguns like the WI-15 slugs or the Argus. If you want to absolutely dominate up close, this is the setup. Pair lightweight, tactician, gung-ho, and dead silence. Throw a contact grenade and 2 stim shots. Send everyone to heaven with UAV, shock RC, and hunter killer drone. And finish it off by using some of the most aggressive operators possible such as equalizers, tempest, or misdirection device. This combination isn't just random, it's basically the most efficient way you could possibly use a shotgun. Now, the sniper loadout, strictly for S&D, CDM, or frontline. First of all, throw that overkill wildcard in here. Second, throw the CX-9 burst as a secondary. Third, UAV, shock RC, and hunter killer drone. Fourth, tempest or annihilator. Fifth, lightweight, toughness, and dead silence. Sixth, contact grenade or stim shot. Seventh, wait, no, we're done. Congratulations. With this loadout, you're officially more toxic than Polonium. This build is designed for maximum impact, but it requires precise execution. So we've covered ARs, SMGs, shotguns, and snipers. What about DMRs, you might think? Well, it's basically the same as the sniper loadout, but there are still LMGs left, and that's where things get a little funnier. For LMGs, we have a similar playstyle to the passive ARs, apart from the fact that we are using the MG42 instead of the Odin, and the MG42 is much better in close range. So we'll definitely want something able to hold a close range angle. Considering you'll be slow as hell, you might want flak jacket and dauntless to counter throwables, then go for a quick fix to get a health boost. For the blue perk, you can go for either demo expert if you use an explosive operator, and since it fits perfectly with the support playstyle of the LMG, I'd go for that. But you can also go for hardline just like with the passive AR loadout if you plan on playing passive. This setup turns you into an immovable object, but it's not quite the ultimate meta loadout. And lastly, my favorite loadout for this season, the one that perfectly balances everything we've discussed. Of course, it's with the Peacekeeper, as you probably expected. With it, we use the Overclock and Skulker Red perks. Along with that, we use Quick Fix and Dead Silence. For the operator, I use the Tempest, as it's in my opinion the most fun operator to use in ranked, and it's quite efficient with the Flex playstyle. For the score streaks, I use UAV, RIPS, and Advanced UAV obviously. For the secondary, I'm just using melee weapons. For the tactical and lethal equipment, I use my trustworthy Molotov plus Smoke Grenade combo. This loadout brings together all the best elements we've explored, allowing you to dominate any situation. If you master this one, you're ready for anything Season 5 throws at you. If you haven't tried the new VMP SMG, it's amazing, and everything you need to know is right here in this video.